Hey guys, so Kardak here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be doing a deck profile on the Three Musketeers deck. And yeah, this is basically one of the most fun decks I've been playing in Digimon for a long time. It's a very gacha-like deck, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun to play. And it's also a pretty strong deck. There are definitely some problems with this, but it's also a very defensive deck, and it's very good at scaring your opponents into not attacking you. So let's just get right into the deck profile first. So for the Digitamons, we're going to be running 4 Pagumons. You can actually run either purple Digitamas, red Digitamas, or black Digitamas. I'm running these because I am running the Digivolve card, the black one. So if I do draw into that, I can Digivolve into that for a free draw. And yeah, the Chikurimon. But yeah, if you want to, it depends on which option card you want to use the most, actually. If you want to hard cast them, usually don't want to because you want to take advantage of it. Take advantage of your Three Musketeers, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So, for Pagumon. For the level 6s, we're running 4 Bellestarmons. So, we are going to be running 4 Bellestarmon because this is one of the Three Musketeers, and we're going to max out these. She's really good because if you have enough in your drop, or in your trash, you'll be able to pretty much play her for free. It happens a lot late game, even mid game, depending on how you play your cards. So overall, she's pretty good. Alright, so next we will be running 4 Magikmon. This is one of your main attackers in the deck. He does have the security check +1. Being 11k, he is a little bit squishy, so you might run into stuff. So a lot of times you do want to be Digivolved into the Managermon, so you get the extra 2k and make him a 13k, which is still a little bit squishy, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and we'll be running 4 of these. There's a couple of variations to this build. I'm running the more budget build. If you guys want to see the more expensive Omegamon build, then you guys let me know. Next, we'll be running 4 American Dramons, or also known as Gunderman. This is your main defender in the deck. There are definitely ways to get around this, but I think being an 11k blocker is pretty decent. You'll be pretty safe in most cases, especially if you have the Gigadramon. You'll be able to give it plus 2k DP, so it'll be a 13k blocker. But there's a lot of decks that can get over that number now, so it's fine. Most of the time you just want to get these 2 guys out to use their options, and then you'll be able to pop some threats on the field. Next, we'll be running 4 Managermon and 4 Gigadramon. Most of the time these guys are hard casts, so if you have a tamer on the field and you just hard cast this and your opponent has a tamer, they'll be at 3, so it's not that bad, but obviously if they don't have a tamer, you don't want to let them have too much memory, but you kind of have no choice in this deck because your Magikmon and your Gunderman are on evolution effects, so you do need to Digivolve. And these 2 cards are the most consistent in the deck. Next, we also have Deputymon. It's also Revolvermon, or Revolvemon. You can warp Digivolve into your 3 Musketeers with this card. It's for 6 cost though, so it is kind of expensive, but you are skipping your level 3 and you are skipping your level 3s or your level 5s, so that kind of balances out, and you do get a free option cast. So it's actually a pretty good value, and a lot of times you want to open with this card because opening with this helps you set up your trash, so it's pretty good. Next, we are running Mega Norimon. This is actually one of the budget options I'm running because it's a blocker, so it's very good against decks that are trying to rush you early game. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. It's a 4 cost to cast, so even if you have nothing to do, like if your opponent has nothing to play on the field, there's no point in Digivolving into your 3 Musketeers. And if you don't have your Managermon or Gigadramon in your hand, then this is a good option to cast, just so you can set up a blocker. And it's a 6k DP Digimon, so it gets over a lot of the pop effects. And again, if your opponent has rookies on the field and they're attacking this, if you block and your opponent is the only Digimon deleted, then you can make this card active again and suspend it, so you can use it to keep blocking your opponent's small Digimon. So overall, it's pretty good. I was running at 4 before. You really don't need 4. I took some card out for just run 2 of these. But yeah, he's here to help you stall sometimes, which is nice. Next, we are running 4 SECURITymon. So we don't really run that many level 3s in this deck, but SECURITymon is one of the ones, because if you guys look at the rest of the list, you'll see that the security is actually a huge threat in this deck against your opponent. So you want to take advantage of that, and this also does a pretty good job at de-digivolving the level 7s and stuff, so that you can set up for pop range. And if you get this in hand, you can just digivolve it into a Pagumon, so you get that free draw, and you can use it to chip away at your opponent's security if that's what you want to do. But yeah, it's not a bad card. Not a bad card. Next, we're running 4 Impmon. So Impmon is here to help you retrieve your Bellestarmons and help you set up your trash if you have too many option cards in your hand. Yep, not much else to say about Impmons. For the securities, or for the options, sorry, we're running 4 of the Gunderman options, 4 of the Magikmon options, and 4 of the Bellestarmon options. So you want to maximize on these so that you make your security as scary as possible, and just so that you can have options to cast when you do use your Three Musketeers skills. Your Gunderman checks the top 5 and then casts 1, and then your Magikmon requires you to have 1 from your hand, and then your Bellestarmon just lets you pick 1 up from the trash, and then you can cast 1 from your hand. So obviously the best one is Bellestarmon, because you can pretty much cast most of the stuff in your trash. And your Gunderman is also pretty good because you're playing the gacha machine with this guy, so that's pretty good. Magikmon is also good, but you do have to have the right option in your hand, but that's okay, because most of the time you will have at least 1 or 2 of these option cards in your hand, so that's fine. So we're also running 2 Trump Swords. You can run this for any other 7-cost option you want. I'm running Trump Sword because Trump Sword, I think it's one of the better 7-cost option cards. I see some people running Transcendent Sword. Transcendent Sword is good, but I think Trump Sword is better if your opponent's attacking into it, especially if they have something that can unsuspend itself. Like if your opponent is playing a Gabumon deck and they crash into this, then they're gonna cry. Your opponent's also gonna cry if they crash into a SECURITymon. If they're playing Gabumon and they crash into this, they just break their combo. It's pretty funny sometimes. Next, and last but not least, we're running 2 Yamatos. This is the main card you want to help you get to 3 memory, and he can also help you pick up some Bellestarmons if you need it. So very solid option tamer. If you want to have another tamer, you can. If you're running the Omegamon build, you can run the Yamato and Ties. If you're running the short defeat, the decks are kind of different. There's actually a lot of variations for this deck. Some people are focusing on one color, which works as well. But I think having the 3 Musketeers together is definitely more interesting, and it really does feel like a gacha machine when you're playing this deck for both you and your opponent. Because your opponent, when they're attacking your security, they're like, am I gonna hit into a non-threatening card like a Magikmon, Revolvermon? You know, these are all pretty unthreatening, but you also have a lot of threatening cards like your level 6s and your options. Because we're running quite a few options. Even your tamer is a little bit scary sometimes because you can pick up a Bellestarmon a lot of times. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. It's a very self-explanatory deck. You just want to hard cast your stuff that can go into the Three Musketeers, and then you can play your hand from there. Obviously, it depends on what you have in your trash and what you have in your hand, but these two are the main guys you want to go into early game. And these are the ideal, obviously these are the ideal evolution lines. But sometimes if you mix it up, that's fine too. If you attack with this and he doesn't die, at least you have a 13k base, level 6, so that if they can't kill it, you can unsuspend it next turn and attack for 2 security again. Yeah. This one, it's not as useful because you want to, depending if your opponent has you know, attackers or not, most of the time you want to keep this unsuspended and just keep it as a blocker. But I like Gunderman for his Gacha effect because it helps you pile up the trash and helps you set up for your Bellestarmons. The difference between the Magikmon build and this build is that when you digivolve you can digivolve your stuff into short. Like your Bellestarmon, once you hardcast it, she doesn't really do anything on the field afterwards. So people use the Sword to pop another tamer or make her a little bit make your Digimon a little bit more beefy. So when you attack security, you don't crash. And if you have the Yamato and Tai on the field, you get 2 security checks. So it makes the deck a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, it's that deck is kind of expensive, and you're already running Bellestarmon, which is an expensive card already. So if you run 4 defeats, then the price is going to skyrocket, like double in price. So yeah, you guys can, you know, kind of choose what kind of deck you want to play. But this deck, I think this deck itself is already good enough. It's definitely good enough, and yeah, have fun playing with this deck because I had a lot of fun playing this deck. If you guys watch me playing this deck on stream, you guys know how much fun I had. And hopefully my opponent had fun. He was like, oh, should I attack or not? You know, and then he attacks with, oh, mistakes were made. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. It's a pretty simple deck because there's really not too many things to think about in this deck. Just play according to your hand, and you should be good. And just pray to RNGesus that your security is you have a nice security. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. This is Karataku, and I'll see you guys next time.